Hello and welcome to the channel. In case you're new here, this is usually a German channel, but I tend to do my tutorials in English as well, so stay tuned. Today I'm going to work with you on a few models applying decals, and as I often called, these beautiful adhesive films that we have here, almost like you could call them tattoo miniatures, miniature tattoos or what you want to say, and that's what I want to show you right now. So first of all, why should you apply decals? It's actually quite simple and you enhance the models. As you can see here, for example, these are the small stripes here. You could obviously paint them as well, but they add a lot of layer to your stuff. The banner from the Alpha Legion here and the shoulder pads are decals as well. It's a printed decal from Forge World. But you could also print your own decals to make something completely custom. And here on the small edge, bottom, Alpha Legion symbols, whatever you want, you can add a bit more to the model staff. And also the shield here has a symbol of the Adeptus Arbites, and I hope you already can get an idea of what kind of effect decals give, or they just upgrade the theme of your army. And you could also use it to make squad markings on the shoulder pads or whatsoever. So either your package or your miniatures come already with decals, or you could customize them and create your own decals. Anyway, first of all, I would like to apply decals with you now, but we need a few tools. Not too many, like in magnetizing. I did a tutorial on magnetizing as well. It's not that complex. Of course, we need the decals themselves, which are typically those you get from GW. You can also design and print your own, as I just said, and that's basically all you need is specific transfer paper, which works with specific tools. You need to cut them, so you need a hobby knife. Do not use scissors, just a sharp hobby knife. And I recommend you to buy this decal softener. It's kind of a decal solution if you want. So I think it's just water-based stuff, and you would not need that for a sheet like this, like not a flat area. But if you're going to edgy areas like this, for example, like curved areas, you will need decal softener. It makes it just more easy to apply it, and the decals will follow the design of the models once you've applied the softener up front. Also, don't use scissors in any way. That's just a craft knife or a hobby knife would do the job to clean it perfectly clean, and the scissors you might leave frayed edges, or you're just gonna destroy it. As you can see, they're getting really small. And another essential for this is that you cut really carefully around it. So therefore you cannot actually do it with a scissor. This one, water is essential. So I use a smaller container from the art supply store, but any container will actually do the job. So keep the water as hot as possible. You could also use warm or cold water. It just goes better with warm water, which is my experience. Might depend on the sheets you will work with. You need tweezers, which are crucial. You don't need expensive ones. You can get them from the dollar store or whatever. They should just work. And lastly, you will need a brush as well and a small container to put the decal softener in. So a brush is basically there to apply the decals eventually. So the primary question is also that, or when should you apply the decals eventually? Ideally after the base colors are on the model. So decals don't really stick to vanished surfaces. Also, you might want to apply like this one, like my Death Corps of Greek. You want to apply some weathering, shading, or maybe some pigments or particles, whatever. And for a sheet like this, you possibly do not need softener, but I can recommend you. So this is a base coating, basically the stage where I apply the decals. This model here, for example, only has its base coat on, so it's basic colors applied. I'll add decals now, and later I can do weathering, more detailed painting around them, or just the edges. The reason I do that is because I can still get an idea of what kind of effect will the decal make. And once you paint too much details on the model, you might always loose spots where you could put decals as well. So these are just 3 base colors. So I primed it and I put the black on it, scrapped the black away on some parts to get some metal effects, put the red base coat, and the gold base coat, and I will do obviously some other finishing on the models and final touches. But here's where I'm gonna apply the decals right now. So that's basically the stage I can recommend you, especially I will take this one. For example, here I applied the normal color, then I applied the decal, and then I used some rusty texture and rust paint, and then I put ice particles, not particles like pigment colors up above it. That gives more in-depth feel, and it helps to let the decal become more part of the model's overall aesthetics, if you know what I mean. Decals just look better when they're integrated with the painting process rather than just stuck on top of the final job, and that's basically what I can tell you from my experience. Now let's quickly apply decal together. First you choose your decal and carefully cut it out using a craft knife. Always use a cutting mat or something else to protect your surface, your table, whatever you're cutting on. And for this tutorial I've chosen a specific decal for shield. I'm just gonna darken it down here to make it visible for you. Yeah, it's really, I think my camera was too bright. So this is one I already finished. This is exactly the one I want to put on my other models as well. So right now it's pretty easy. Carefully cut out the decal. Make sure to not damage the surrounding materials, to not cut through it as well. And that's what you do. Make it nice and sharp. And eventually you can even put it out with your decal knife, like this. Don't apply too much force, just you can even cut twice if it's needed. Now we prepare the surface where the decal will go. Lightly wet the area with either water or decal softener, and then immerse the decal in hot water to loosen it from the backing paper. So decal softener is not really needed here since it's a really flat surface. You will need some water, however, to move the decal around. Softener is there to soften the decal itself, so it will apply with any edges you might want to put the decal over, which is not the case here. But water will help you to move the decal once it's applied. So here we use the water. After a few seconds in hot water, the decal will slide off the paper almost on its own. So position it carefully on the model and also make sure to not lose it. So as you can see here, I try to hold a grip in case it might slip off earlier if you don't hold the grip. Now you just put it where you want to have it, slide it off with your fingers, and there it is. Now the more water you have on the surface, or the more, actually water helps more than decal softener here, you will see the water slides in between it, and then you can start moving it. You can do that with a brush or just with any metal tool or wooden tool. I recommend a brush because with a brush you can also apply the softener on the water, and that's about it. As you can see, it's almost perfectly fine here. The more water you apply, the more slippier it will get, and hotter water speeds up the process a bit, but be cautious not to damage the decal. So use a brush to smooth it out, and it ensures to adhere to the model surface. Once the decal is in play, let it dry completely. For the best results, leave it to set before handling the model further, which is what I'm not going to do right now, and you're going to see what's going to happen. So after the decals has dried, apply a thin layer of decal softener over it. Use a fine brush to spread the solution even across the decal. It helps to conform the model surface and prevents any visible edges from sticking out. If you do batch process, I can recommend you to do all the shoulder pads, wait until it's dry, and then you do all the shields or whatever. Just go one by one and make sure it's dry before. Right now I'm doing the same thing before. And once the decal is fully dried, you can actually seal it with varnish or proceed your painting. So eventually the first step protects the decal from scratches and ensures it remains securely attached during further painting or handling. But do not put any varnish over it, because you might not be able to paint after your varnish. So But you can apply shade now and anything else. As you see now, I applied the shoulder pad. That's what I'm gonna do now. Same procedure. Loosen it up. You might vary. If the water is really hot, it can come off in like 2 or 3, 5, 4 seconds. Sometimes you need 10 seconds. And now you can apply it. And you see it almost slips off. So I put it a little bit too long in there, and now I have it on the hand. So do not worry. So you don't have to fear anything. It's just paper, and you have a lot more time handling decals. And as you see now, I pushed the shield away as well, so the decal was not applied completely because it was not dry yet, and I moved the decals around. So you can fix that by adding water and just move it around. But as you can see, yeah, just need water. And then you can use a harder tool than a brush to move it actually around. So what I was about to say, you have a lot more time than working with super glue or whatever. So it really needs some time to dry. And here again, now the decal is basically broken, so do not fear, don't throw it away. You can also always put it on your finger or just put it on your fingernails, even better. And then you can apply water and use a little bit of a hard tool like a toothpick or something like this, or even the brush in combination with the water, laying on a hard non-stickable surface like your fingers will help you to unwrap it, and eventually it's just paper. As long as you don't cut through it or completely wrinkle it, you can always, even if you wrinkle it, you can unwrinkle it with using water. And as you can see now, I put it on my fingernail, a little bit of hard tools, and then here we go, and it's back. Now carefully with the shield, don't want to loosen that again, apply a little bit of water, and as you can see, it perfectly moves. The more water you use, obviously it needs more time to dry. And yeah, make sure it's all good and centered. And as I can say now, once it's dried, I can apply further painting over it. I can do rust paintings. I can use rust texture, texture color. I can use pigments, and the decal will blend perfectly into the model. And then eventually you can use vanish. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. As I said, weather the decal to blend it into the model's appearance. I don't want to do that right now, but for instance, you could add light paint chipping, as I said, rust effects, subtle shading around the edges, and just to create some seamless, realistic look. And if you're working on vehicles or larger models, consider using an airbrush to lightly spray weathering effects over the decals, for example. This techniques help integrate them even better. So as you can see. And it's like, as you can see here, I use a lot of weathering above it, and it blends perfectly in my opinion. I'm not a super good painter, but I think it turned out pretty good. And I will do the same here, and now continue with the rest of my squad. So, and further that, it's, again, to summarize what you need, it's like a brush to apply water and a decal softener. And the small tools, you need the decals obviously, and yeah, that's basically it. You need the tweezers, decal softener, and that's all you need, and a cutting knife obviously. So yeah, that was it. Just keep in mind, English is my almost third language. I hope this tool or this video was helpful for you, and I hope this tutorial helps you apply decals more effectively. It's a straightforward process that can significantly enhance the look of your miniatures, and with a bit of practice you will be able to achieve professional results in my opinion. And if you enjoyed the tutorial or have questions, feel free to leave a comment, and I'd love to hear feedback and see how your projects turn out. So thanks for watching and happy hobbying. Bye bye.